as well. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another great episode of Framing New Heights. My name is Michael Hicks. I am the host. We have such an awesome opportunity, you guys. I'm super excited. I want to welcome you all to another awesome interview we have. We got one of the greats. She has been a host on the Mark Wahlberg show. Her iconic presence has empowered and impacted many. Kindly welcome to the show former American Gladiator herself, Lori Ice Fetrick. Hi, Lori.
Oh, you almost got it. Woohoo! Almost got Fetrick.
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 I failed miserably.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Take
Trust
two.
me. No. Trust me. I've had people kill my name before.
Probably should have asked you that before we went live, huh?
I do it all the time. I'm like, and how do you say your first name?
That's funny.
Hey, Michael, how are you?
Two. I'm great. Trending upward as always, and it's just great to connect with like-minded individuals, and I love to hear your story. And we're about to embark on a fun challenge. I want to tell you this before we get on the podcast, though. So, for many years, as I was coming up, I have long hair. I don't know if you've done that, but I have like long locks.
Okay.
You're gonna get a kick of what I'm gonna tell you. Okay.
Okay.
My friends used to call me Malibu.
Oh God, why?
Because I had the look. Apparently, I had the look. I had the resemblance. But because I know he was a part of the American Gladiator, right?
Okay, so everybody, for whatever reason, remembers Malibu. And literally, he did one season out of what? 13? And it's mind-blowing how people remember. I think because of the fact that it was his long blonde hair and that, that surfer look that he had. I mean, that was like, I don't know, that was for some reason like the iconic look, and everybody remembers it. But it's funny because it's like he was on one season.
That is funny. And what's interesting is I didn't even know that until now.
Yeah, absolutely. One season.
One season. And before we even get in, but let's get into it right away. We're already getting into it. How many seasons were you on American Gladiator?
I missed the first 13 episodes, which was considered the first season. And then I missed one season when we all held out and they let us go. And then I came back. So probably I think it comes down to like 8 or 9 seasons.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You're a keynote speaker.
Mm-hmm. Right. Oh my God, it's my life. Literally my life. I mean, my whole thing is, God, I started playing sports when I was in 4th grade. And I played sports all through high school, volleyball, softball, basketball, started bodybuilding, started in fitness. And I'm an athlete. I do snowboarding and skiing and wakeboarding and everything like that. So, other than that, it's kind of like that is my life. So yes, fitness, athlete, athletics, sports shaped it. That's who I am.
So I get it, because fitness has been my realm of expertise, college athlete, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm realizing now, Lori, you go, Lori, or should we call you Ice?
You can call me Lori, and I'm gonna.
Cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Say what you can say.
Okay, so we're live, YouTube.
We're live right here.
We're live right here, and this is
it's recorded for audio.
Beautiful.
Which is good. Yep.
All right. I just want to know where the heck I'm looking.
I know, because you are an actress. Don't you got some things going on? Why don't you guys share some of those things for us?
I'm like, am I
Yeah.
YouTube live in my phone? Am I here? All right. There we go. Okay. So tell me what your question was.
No,
What do you have?
so you kind of you're in the realm of being an actress, and I know you're
Yes.
doing some things right now. I
Yes.
saw some really cool things on your IG. You were doing some kind of video thing.
Oh, that was so cool.
Tell us a little bit
Okay,
about that.
so that was okay. It's an app and it's called Portal One. I didn't know about it, but they've had like, Justin Bieber and they've had uh, God, so many different celebrities do this particular Portal One VR. I mean, I walk in this room and it's this ginormous green screen. And then he's like, okay, I'm going to put the headset on you and I want you just to stay still and kind of get used to it because a lot of people don't get, the VR kind of either you can get dizzy or motion or something. And I had never had one of those things on before. And it was just, it took me to like this amazing island, you know? And then it was like the game was like an Angry Bird type of game, you know?
Got you. Yep.
So
Yep.
that was really amazing. And it was just so much fun. I mean, I told him, I was like, thank God this isn't like near my house or something. I'd never leave my house. I'd have pajamas on, like playing this game all the time. It
It's
was,
that
it
cool,
was
right? It's like
very cool.
virtual
Oh,
reality, right?
it is totally. It was just unbelievable. It was so cool. And so basically, Portal One's an app, and yes, I recorded it, but people can, I believe it's going to air June 24th, and people play against me. So, like, they can sign in to Portal One and play against me. So it's really awesome.
So tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit. What are they playing against? How are they? How can they get involved? Give it
I
the
mean,
plug.
I'll just be honest. It's like you just have to download the app, and it's called Portal One, and it'll walk you through the whole thing. And they have like different celebrity dates that you
Oh
can
wow,
actually sign up to play against these celebrities.
that's so cool.
Yeah, it's
That's so
really
cool.
awesome.
You guys heard it here on Framing New Heights, only here right now. Hey, so I want to go in. You're currently working on something that's really cool. Excuse me. And I've been in I was in education for a long time, and you're working on a children's book that's really aimed at overcoming childhood obesity. What motivated you to tackle this issue? And then how do you hope your book will impact your readers and their families?
Well, it's really interesting because the first and foremost, the book, it's as you're writing a book, it changes. I mean, you might have the outline, you might have the idea, but as you're getting into it and as you're writing it, all of a sudden things start changing. So originally it was like, Playground Warriors. So that's the name of the book, The Playground Warriors. And I wanted to showcase, just like um, kids that go outside and play and just be active and do anything that you can because right now nobody's outside playing. They're all on their phones. I mean, they're all on their phones, they're all on their tablets. I mean, they're all looking down. They're not outside. I mean, when I was growing up, I mean, obviously it was like you get home from school and the first thing you want to do is go outside, jump on your bike and go play, you know, and kids don't do that anymore. And so the book actually it just started as a book and then all of a sudden it went, wait a minute, let's do an animation, behind this. And let's do like an exercise animation for kids.
Wow,
And starting out from the ages of 4 to 7, and it's just about moving and just simple little exercises that they
that's
can
cool.
do in front of their television and jump up and down and do jumping jacks and sit ups and push ups and that kind of fun stuff, and then kind of start, and it's and it's funny because since it is 4 to 7, we're not really educating the kids, we're educating the parents, is what we're doing. At the same time, like, hey, feed your kids some healthy snacks, some fruits, things like that. If they're hungry, stop feeding them a candy bar, and hand them an apple or something. So it's in a way reminding the parents what to do as well. So we're really excited about it. The book should be out in about 30 days.
Oh, that's amazing.
It is called theplaygroundwarriors.com, so people can go and pre-sell it. I mean, people can go buy it because it is on pre-sale right now. But the animation, we're looking, hopefully it's going to follow within like 3 months afterwards. It's a little bit more to tackle when it comes to the animation part of it. But yeah, I'm really excited about it and where it's going to go.
That's awesome. How long did it take you to craft that? Because I'm in the process of writing a book myself. It's going to be an autobiography and a self-help book. But when
Hmm.
you were writing this, like you talked about, you get to a point and you almost want to like take everything and just throw it in the garbage and start over. And I feel your pain because I'm there. Tell me a little bit about the process.
Oh, well, it's a collaboration. I mean, me and my manager, we sat down, we had this great idea, and it's like we just kept going back and forth, back and forth. First of all, it's like the characters. It's like my little character's name is Ace, so I can't use ice, I can't do any of those things. So we have like Ace, and we have JJ and Cowboy, and different names for the kids. And so it started out very simple, super simple. And then it kind of went a little bit more into, okay, so what's the message? So we started doing the different messages. And then is it one book? Is it 5 books? That kind of thing. Because once we realized that we wanted to do multiple books, I hate to say it, but it was a little easier because what you want to do is like you want to cram everything into one book. And it's like, well, wait a minute. No, let's not cram everything into one book. Let's do multiple books, like maybe 5 or 6 of them, and they're only
That's
like
cool.
20, 25 pages. It's not this big, huge autobiography. So I don't know about, I would imagine you tackling something like that is like way more in depth than just a 20-page, 25-page children's book.
Yeah, but I mean it's still remarkable though too, and that's the biggest thing is that I like how you're promoting education to the parents because let's be straight, obesity is a major thing. You can walk out in public, like let's say for example, I've got a 9-year-old daughter, and sometimes I go to a pool, and I gotta be careful how I say this, but there's a majority of people you look around, it's hard to find someone that looks like yourself or me. Let's just say that. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, well, let's go back further than that. Let's go back into, I know a lot of people don't, I mean, obviously go back and look at a photo, but if you go back and look at a photo of Woodstock, what year was that?
Oh,
What year is Woodstock? God, 70s, right? Something like
yep.
that.
I was gonna say
Okay.
70s or early 60s or late 60s rather.
If you look in the crowd, there's not one obese person. And
Ooh.
it shows a sea of people. And by the way, there were no big box gyms back then. We have more gyms today than there ever was back then.
You're right.
Okay, so I mean, this is like, that's I grew up watching my mom exercise to Jack LaLanne on television.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
My dad had like, muscle and fitness magazines, laying around the house. And so it's not that I grew up in this major fitness, but at the same time, it's like, don't you got to kind of wonder why there weren't
Mm.
any obese people back in Woodstock? So is it that we've gotten lazy and complacent, or has our food changed? Our
You know,
food's changed.
it's significant. It's not even food, right? Because like you go to the grocery store, there's like a certain pocket in that grocery store is there is really good food for you. Everything else is processed preservatives, every other imaginable chemical you
Oh,
can think
absolutely.
about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everything has, corn syrup in it. Everything has fructose in it. Everything. I mean, our food is full of sugar now. It's unfortunate. And the other unfortunate thing about it is eat healthy and clean is way more expensive
Mm.
than eating shit.
No, you're right. You're right. But I like to
Yeah.
use this perspective because like you can pay the price now or later.
Yeah,
You
exactly. I'm not
invest. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just saying you're absolutely right. You invest now into your food and into your exercise, and then you're not going to invest so much money in doctor bills later down the road.
Boom. Exactly. And
You know?
it's so scary and so sad, but you hit the nail on the head. There's a gym everywhere.
Yeah, there is on
Everywhere
every
you
corner,
go.
if not
Yeah,
two on every corner sometimes. I
100%.
live here in LA, and there's like LA Fitness, 24-hour fitness, Gold's Gym, all on one block. So it's not that there's a lack of exercise facilities to go to. And then open up YouTube. YouTube has an abundance of apps and exercises, and I mean, all you got to do is Google how to do a sit up, and you're going to get probably what, 50 to 100 YouTube videos on that. So
Yeah.
it's not a lack of education, it's not a lack of information. I i I just, and I mean, the more I dig, the more I go down the rabbit hole. It is, and it's, it is kind of sad, as when it comes to our food and how it's processed and what they're pushing. And the worst thing they did, I think, back when, is when they said, get rid of all fat, and all of a sudden, everything was fat free, everything was fat free. But what they did is they replaced it with a shit ton of sugar.
You're right.
you know
You're right.
it's like, duh, okay, well, which is worse? I mean, shit, cancer feeds off of sugar. you
Ah, I
know
love how you're
it's
preaching.
just
Yes.
insane.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't mean to preach. I'm just kind of speaking what's really real and the truth, you know?
Well,
And it's like, somebody has to wake up to this.
and I think we shouldn't have more as a male. I think it's like 36 grams of sugar, and I think women it's like 26 or 27. But everything, if you just take a can of
That's a
Coke,
Snicker bar.
yeah, right, exactly, exactly. So you got to be really mindful. But I agree with you. We're
Yeah.
so like minded on that.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to turn the tides a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about your podcast.
Okay.
It reaches a wide audience. And what are your central messages you aim to convey through your episodes? And then how do you align them, or how do you ensure you align them with your mission of empowerment and resilience? Because I know you speak a lot about that.
Wow, that's a mouthful right there.
Yeah. Should I
I
make it
mean,
easier, or you got it?
well, I got it.
All
I
right, all
mean,
right,
to be
good.
honest with you, when I first started my podcast, um, the direction was, let's interview all the gladiators, because I realized when I started doing TikTok videos and different things like that, people are like, "Oh my god, I didn't realize you were funny. Or I didn't realize your personality was like this. I didn't know this about you." And I was like, "Wow, wait a minute. Nobody really knows the gladiators. They only know the persona. They only know
True.
the alter ego,
Yep.
basically."
Yep.
So when I first started my podcast, and that's another thing that's constantly evolving, um, it was to get to know the gladiators and interview the gladiators and pull back the veil of the gladiators and what was going on with them and what they're up to now. How the gladiator show changed their life. If it did at all. know. Um, so it evolved from going into, because obviously I ran through all the gladiators, and some of them wanted to come back on twice. Some of them, I mean, I definitely award, I'm doing. But then what I started doing is I started doing a lot of Comic Cons and signing autographs, and then I started meeting a lot of these really cool people from the 80s and 90s television shows, and it was just awesome. So I started interviewing them on my podcast.
Oh wow.
So it started evolving. And then from the Comic Cons in the 80s and 90s, actors and actresses and everything, some of the wrestlers, some of the old WWF wrestlers, being on the show. And now it's making another turn, it's evolving again, and now it's going back more into the health and the fitness.
Gotcha.
And that's also, I mean, that's my passion, that's my life, that's who I am. And so I just wanted to, on my podcast, show other sides of my personality and other sides of who I am. I mean, you can look at me hopefully and go, okay, yeah, she's totally into fitness, she's never let it go.
Yes,
you know?
absolutely, absolutely. I agree. I agree 100%. Hey, I want to
Yes.
talk. You mentioned alter ego
Yeah.
because it's kind of like this. Like the Gladiator, the American Gladiator was kind of like you had this persona,
Yeah.
and how did you hype yourself? Because it's almost like a different perspective. Like, how did you prepare for these shows? And when you went out to speak to people, like, is it the same? Is it unique? Like, tell us a little bit about your persona.
Well, it's interesting because it's like I realize I kind of do the same thing. I do the same thing today when I'm getting, kind of pumped up for something, let's say. If I'm going into a live, like last night I did a live newscast over at KTLA here in Los Angeles. And I knew it was live. Okay. So you can't fuck that up. So it's interesting because everybody's like, "Are you nervous?" I was like, "No, I'm really not nervous." But yet the interesting thing is when I sat down at the table, with all the other news anchors and they started talking to me, I noticed my heart started racing. And what it was is just an adrenaline. It was an adrenaline
Sure,
rush.
for
And I
sure.
realized that it's like, okay, just breathe. Just breathe. And when you breathe, you don't get lightheaded and everything comes into focus. And so the way that I actually personally, get hyped up for these things, because you got to get hyped up for these things and have the energy to go in, it is a mindset. And it's also, how do you do that physically? Some people do
Mm.
jumping jacks, some people go la 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 la, whatever they do to get that warm up, or something, but when let's say I'm driving somewhere and I got to do something, I crank some amazing, awesome music on, that just, I mean, come on, let's go with what is the one song that I actually jump on all the time is Unstoppable, you know.
Is that
Uh
by oh,
Sia.
what's her name? What's that?
Is it Sia? Is that how you say it?
Yeah. Yep.
SIA?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And that's it. And I mean, I just kind of crank these kind of things in my car and just kind of get like, mentally, pumped up for these types of things. But it's a mentalness. It's like even just going into Gladiators before an event, you mentally prepare by just going, I mean, you do a lot of self-talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Positive self talk. Yeah.
yeah, positive self-talk. You're the badass. You're the one. You're the number one. You're the one they want. You're the one to beat. You're this, you're that. And it's just like, you say these things enough and you hear yourself saying them and you hear yourself in your mind and you believe it, and that's why it's like a lot of people, when you see like, different people say, have the self-talk, affirmations in the morning. Some people are like, that's ridiculous. That's stupid. No, it works.
I
It's
love that you said that.
true.
It does.
I mean, when you speak something, you hear it, you know? And it's just like if you're going to tell me something, I'm listening. Well, I hate to say it, it sounds really weird, but you're listening when you're doing the self talk. So anybody that just goes, I'm a piece of shit. Oh my God, I hate
Mm,
myself. And that's, well, of
mm.
course you're going to be that because you're listening to yourself saying that kind of stuff. I'm just a little different. I go the opposite direction. I do the self-talk of, this is what you want. This is who you are. You're the number one in this area. You're the badass. You're the, it's like, even if
No.
you're not, tell yourself
A
that.
100%, because at the end of the day, Lori, you're absolutely right, because your subconscious hears everything you say. What comes out of your
Absolutely.
mouth is who you are. That's your
Yeah.
identity.
Yeah.
That's who you identify
Exactly.
as. I
Yes.
often hear this. I often hear, "Oh, I'm so tired." Stop identifying yourself as tired. Tired
Oh,
is a
100%.
feeling. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I feel tired. That's definitely different. I love that you
Okay.
said that.
I'm gonna take that a step further. Okay, and you'll
Go.
love this. And that is, I remember when I was trying out for Gladiators and I was training a woman who was really, really into, self-help, motivation. She was taking different classes. Um, some people like it, some people don't, but it was the landmark forum. Some people say it's a cult, but whatever. I mean, it's self-help. It's great. She was really into it. But my point on this is I was telling her, I was like, oh my God, I'm really nervous. And she stopped me and she looked at me and she goes, Lori, she goes, I want you to remember something. She goes, you're not a nervous person. Nervousness is occurring around you, and that's
Mhm.
all it's doing. You are
Wow.
not a nervous person. It's just the nervousness occurring around you, and now you operate on top of that.
Wow.
And man, it just sunk in. And I've
Absolutely.
never ever forgotten that. And every time I'm in a situation to where I get a little nervous, I'm like, I am not a nervous person. This is just happening. Now I just need
Wow.
to operate on top of it.
That's beautifully said, and I'm sure I'm going to be using that clip right there that you
There
just
you
said. That
go.
was marvelous. Yeah. Hey, I want to talk a little bit about your hosting days. Of talk a little bit. So reflect on your time when you were hosting shows like the Mark Wahlberg Show, and then the Women in the Zone. And how do you think media representation of women and athletes really has evolved? Because I want to go in a little bit on that, even with the new WNBA situation that occurred with Caitlin. I want to hear your ideas. And go.
I mean, I gotta be honest with you. I mean, I'm not super up to date with what's happening. Like you just mentioned WNBA. I was like, oh, what's happening in the WNBA? So you're gonna have to tell me what's happening in the WNBA. But I mean, women's sports has always been a struggle, to be quite honest with you. Women in the Zone was extremely, when I was pitching that show and trying to get that show made, I got turned down so many times because there was like, oh, this is an all female show. Nobody will watch it. What? What do you mean nobody will watch it? Fox Sports. I mean, I remember they're like, I love this. I love this. This is great. But we can't do it because it's all women and nobody's going to watch it.
Wow.
Yeah,
When
it
was
was
it?
mind blowing.
When did they tell you this? Tell me what was the
Okay,
year
this
frame?
was this was right. I'm gonna say mid, because it was early 90s Gladiators, mid 90s, like really mid 90s to
Wow.
98, 99 area.
Okay. Okay.
And I was just like, what? What do you mean
Wow.
nobody's gonna watch this because it's all female? That's crazy. I've always been behind female sports. I mean, it's like that's who I am, playing female sports. And so I mean, I can't get too much into that because every time I open my mouth on that one, everybody's like criticizing me because I don't like what's happening, to be honest with you, in the female sport arena. I don't like that. Let's just throw it out there. I don't like that there's transgenders in female sports. It's not fair. I don't care who looks at me and says, "Bah, bah, bah, bah," gladiator, bad gladiator. I'm sorry, men are stronger. They're faster, they're stronger, and it doesn't matter. Genetically, that's who they are. And if
Yeah.
they want to compete, then have your own league.
Yeah.
you
Yeah. That's
know
good. That's a good point.
um yeah, it's just too bad. But I mean, with the females out there, like, I mean, I'm all about sports. I mean, that's all I played as a kid. And I mean, I wanted to be like, I mean, if I could have picked, like, let's say, any kind of a pro sport to play in. I actually thought of like basketball, but there wasn't even a female league back then. I was
Oh
all
yeah.
into
Yeah.
basketball when I was in high school, but there wasn't any
How tall
female
are you?
league. I'm
How
only
tall are you?
5'7". 5'7".
How five
I was a
seven? Okay.
guard.
Okay. Okay.
I
All
was a
right. All right.
guard.
Hey, so what role do you believe you played in any significant change as far as women representation?
Oh, definitely. I can only go by what I have heard from literally a lot of my fans, and that
Let's,
is, thank you so much for showing me that women can be strong,
uh,
powerful, and still sexy all at the same time.
yeah.
I have so many messages like that. And so that just, I mean, that touches my heart that I was able to have an impact somehow, some way, no matter if it's, just, small. But I don't think my impact was that small. That's the interesting
Uh,
thing. I
right.
don't know how far, that ripple went out, but I do know that I impacted a lot of females when it came to strength, powerfulness, and you can still be a girl and sexy all at the same time, and
I
have this
100%
type
agree.
of physique, and have the attitude and the mindset that actually matches the physique,
Yeah,
you
because
know.
the mind and the body are so connected in so many ways,
Yeah,
and you obviously alluded to that earlier, and it's well said. Hey,
thank you.
so Yeah, you're welcome, Lori. Empowering women is a significant part of your work.
Yes.
What unique challenges do you believe women face in achieving their fullest potential?
Believing in themselves.
Hmm.
I've met so many women. They, for some reason, it could be their childhood, it could be the situation they're in. They just, for some reason, they just don't believe in themselves, and who they are. And having to change that type of mindset is a little challenging.
Hmm.
But I do like to, if I can in any way, inspire or motivate, or anything that I can do to help them along the way. Um, I mean, that's a big one that I've noticed, with a lot of women along the way when I speak to them, and it's a little sad, a little bit, um, but again, everybody has their story. Everybody has their uniqueness and their individuality of what's happened in their life and why the circumstances are the way they are. But at the same time, let's flip it a little bit. More and more women are more powerful and
Hmm.
strong and encouraging for one another. Now that we do have
Right.
the social media, even though sometimes that could be the flip side of that could be bad as well, because so many people are like, oh, they're fake, they're showing their good side. Well, yeah, everybody tries to, nobody
Yeah.
wants
Yeah.
I'm not saying nobody wants to get on social media and hear the sad soppy stories, but at the same time what happens is, you do get some of these women in the chats, and saying, hey, this is what I'm struggling with. How can Is there any words of encouragement, you may have,
Absolutely.
or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Hey, so Lori, you've been in the entertainment business you're almost your whole life. What's been the biggest, most difficult struggle that you have faced personally? I'm kind of curious if you could share that with our audience.
in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, and then maybe how you overcome that, because like you're still, you talked about you evolving, like you're constantly evolving, and I love that about you. But tell us a little bit about
I'm
that.
constantly trying new things. Let's put it this way. It's funny. It's like at my age, I'm just like, we're like, when are you going to slow down and quit? I'm like, why? you know, Shit, I can sleep when I'm dead. Um, the challenging in the entertainment industry. Oh my God. How long do you have? Um, from back in the day, it was being a female, being a strong female, being a female with muscle. Nobody wanted that.
Wow.
Nobody, they didn't know where to put me. They didn't know, they really didn't know where to put me. That's what's so funny. They're like, are you an athlete? Are you a celebrity? Are you, they just, it was really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was a huge challenge, and then the other challenge I believe was, God, let's see, female muscles, not knowing my physique and who I am, and the way that I come across. I have a very small niche, very small. I can't go out and play the soccer mom. I can't go out and
Sure.
play
Right.
the girlfriend next door. I
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
There's only certain roles in the entertainment industry that are like cut out and possibly made for me.
Wow. Yeah.
Here's another prime example. I mean, there's all, and this is not just me. This is not my only private rainstorm. This is everybody's in the entertainment industry. And that is like I had an audition for Bookie, which was Sebastian Maniscalco, and they were looking for a certain like female, and what it said is big, intimidating, overpowering female. I like
Wow.
in my head, I went, I know exactly and why am I auditioning for this role? They were looking for a female that was like 5'9", maybe 6 foot, weighing about 190, if not 200. That's what they were looking for. So sure enough, I mean, obviously I didn't get that role, but they were like, hey, we got another one for you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. But I mean, that's also, so it's the challenging part is sometimes I'm too muscular, sometimes I'm not big enough. And so it's like, that's why my niche is just, it's small. My niche is very
Yes.
small when it comes to the entertainment industry.
But very,
But,
very successful. Yeah.
you know, when it hits, it hits.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And you've changed and you adapted new roles. So, what advice, Lori, would you have for those struggling with maybe career transition or seeking to redefine their professional identity? What kind of advice would you give them?
Jeez. God, say that again.
Yeah. So what advice would you have for those struggling with career transitions or seeking to
Well, let me ask
redefine
you
their?
this. First of
Yeah.
all, why are they changing careers? I need some more about that. I mean, are they bored in their career and they want to go somewhere else?
Maybe
I mean,
unfulfilled. Unfulfilled.
unfulfilled. And they're unfulfilled in their life and in their career.
Yeah.
Um, that's a hard one, Michael, because I mean, it's like I'm constant. How can I give advice to somebody? I guess I can. And I'm constantly changing. I'm constantly searching for something new. And I'm just never, I can't really say I'm not satisfied with what I'm doing all the time. It's just that I just want to improve more. I want to be better. I want more. I
I
want to
love it.
experience more. And
Yeah.
so it's like I do have that mindset of, hey, let's just try it. If I fail, I fail. Let's just give it a go though, because I could never be stuck in a career that, I look at some people and I kind of, there's a small envy in me that the people who have careers for like 20 and 30 years and they're staying at the same job for 20 and 30 years. First and foremost, I go, oh my God, how do they do that? I would just be, I mean, I do something for like 3, 4, 5 years, and 5 years I've noticed is my mark. I'm done. Let's move on and do something else. I've owned a gym, I've owned a tanning salon. I've sold life insurance. I've been part of a company called
Wow.
WFG, which is just this multi-level marketing company that everybody's like, whoa, stay away from. I built a team. I've done all these things. Um, and yet it's just part of who I am. It I don't know. It's fun. It's fun for me to try new things. So when anybody says I'm stuck in my job, I
Mm, 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 mm,
hate it, then
mm.
why not do something else? Well, the money's great. Okay. Well, then don't find that one thing that you want to try that actually can, obviously make as much money. But maybe try something on the side. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've always been that kind of person, Michael, to where it's like I can't settle. I can't settle.
I love that. And I mean, it's echoes exactly on what I'm about to talk about because you're the new face of Vshred.
I
Yeah, I saw the hat. I want one of those. I want one of those.
love this red
Um,
hat.
yeah, I do. I like it. I saw it right away when it came on. Tell us a little bit about that. What is that entitled? Tell us a little bit about Vshred.
So I'll be honest with you. The way that it happened was just so organic and so cool. The podcast, and I met Crystal Marie, and she's the booking and Adam's girlfriend, and her and I just hit it off. And then she invited me to his Christmas party. So went to there, and then all of a sudden she goes, "Hey, let's get together and have dinner." I said, "I'd love to." And she all of a sudden, like right at the last minute, "Hey, do you mind if Dr. Drew shows?" Yeah, of course. Shit, bring him on. And then so I go down there and I sit down. I sit down at the table, and she goes, "Oh, by the way, there's going to be a small group of other people there." Introducing people, and I look to my right, and I see this gentleman sitting. And I automatically, oh God, I know you, and I love your company, and I love your program, and it's brilliant. And that was Vince Sant, and he was sitting at the end of the table. And I mean, he's the one that everybody, right when you say Vshred, Vshred, the guy that like holds his phone up here and goes, you know,
Yeah.
we just hit it off. And to be quite honest with you, I have had other fitness companies approach me, but our synergies were off. I didn't
Understand.
necessarily want to say I believed in their company and what they did. And his programs are so simple and perfect that I go, it's brilliant. It's literally brilliant. When I saw your program, I'm like, oh my God, why didn't I think of this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because it's like he has the fitness, he has the nutrition. It's, you take the free body type quiz. It tells you what your body type is. I mean, it's not, I hate to say this and I'll probably get backlash, but it's not rocket science when people want to lose weight,
Oh, I agree.
you know?
I agree.
And and when I saw this, I was just like, and they asked me, do you want to be part of this and be on our team? I'm like, absolutely.
That's cool.
Absolutely. I can get behind this company because I believe in it,
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how it happened. And it was just kind of like we just started. I mean, I just was up in Vegas and we were shooting some ads. And so this is like the first go round. But I am so excited. They love it. I love having muscle on my body for females, and more females need to have more muscle on their body. I mean, unfortunately, there's so many statistics out there for females that just don't have the muscle on their body. And really, I would say, that's a huge part of Vshred. You know,
Yeah.
metabolism is going to raise. Muscle, takes more energy to burn.
100%.
And so, that's the other thing. It's like when women come to me and they're just like, what do you do? And the first, they love it. They go, I want you to train me. Your body's amazing. And I just think you look amazing. You need to do. And they go, okay, but I don't want to get bulky. I don't want to put too, I go, what are you looking for? I get it. What you're talking about, the muscle up underneath. Well, you got to build some muscle. you know,
100%.
how do you do that? You got to,
Yes.
and it's just like that constant conversation, and then I go back and I go, you're not designed that way. And they're like, what do you mean I'm not designed that way? Hormonally, you're not designed like a man. The man has, they have more testosterone. They're built,
Right.
they're meant to put on more muscle. It's easier for them. It's hard for a female to really put on a lot of
Yeah.
muscle.
Well,
So
yes,
yes.
but it takes it. You alluded to it in your pictures and your images that you have, like when I was going through your bio and stuff like that. But it starts with their diet, starts with about the work that you put in. But I want to go back, Lori, and I really want to talk about. Tell us about that organic conversation you had when you saw him at the table. There had to have been some kind of cool. Because obviously you live in LA, so you probably meet a lot of people all the time.
Right.
But how did that conversation go? Kind of tell us how it went. Because sometimes truly that's how it happens. Of meeting someone at a certain particular time, it's that
Yeah.
elevator speech, and boom, there you go.
Well, what's so funny is there wasn't even an elevator speech, to be quite honest with you. It's not like I
Oh,
went, I want to be part of your company. No, it was just about sitting there having dinner. He had a couple definitely key people in his company that, he was with, and they were like big Gladiator fans. And well,
oh,
that obviously made it a little easier,
yeah, of
And so we
course,
started
yeah,
talking about Gladiator days and, different things like that. And so, and the funny thing is we were talking, but Dr. Drew was down there talking to Vince as well.
okay,
And Dr. Drew is on the Vshred team as well. So it's, we were all kind of at the table just talking about different things. And we were talking about the Gladiator days, and we were talking about his company and what he did before. And he was a fitness model, and his friend came to him. I was like, oh my God, how'd you start your company?
okay,
So we were talking about those kind of things. To be a fly on the wall is really interesting because there was no agenda. There
I
was
love it.
literally no agenda whatsoever. I just told him flat out, I think your company's brilliant. What you've done is brilliant. And I'm so happy for you.
That's
That was
awesome.
kind of like the end of the conversation when it came to that. And then we just started talking about personal things. And, his girlfriend was sitting next to him, and, she's a pilot, and she looked like, she was 18, but she's beautiful. But at the same time, it's like, what? You're a pilot? you know? So that's how the
That's
conversation
cool.
went. And then the
That's
next thing I
awesome.
know, they're like, literally, they text messaged me and said, "Hey, we'd love to have a meeting with you." I had no
Wow.
idea what the meeting was even about, to be
Sure.
honest with you. And so
That's cool.
cool because it was just so organic, you
And
know?
then sometimes those are the best opportunities, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to go into because you've got some really critical, you've been crucial for success. The big two words that I use in my programming as a life coach and life strategist is time management.
Time management.
Big one. So,
Whew.
how do you balance your various
I am
roles?
the
Right. I
worst
know you
at
took a
time
big deep breath,
management.
but I want to hear this. But you're doing so much. So, you obviously are doing a good job because you're an author, you're a speaker, you have a podcast, you're a former athlete, you're an entrepreneur. Like, with all that stuff making time, how do you make time for, the well-being and the
Look,
growth journey? Talk to me on
you have to have a small team. Not all me. My mom's the same way. She's like, "What are you doing today?" I'm like, "Oh, this, and this," and I'm like, "Yeah, we're starting this." She's like, "What?" And she's like, "Damn, you got a shit a lot of things going on." I mean, yes, I have a lot of things going on right now, but if you think about it, okay, so the other thing that we haven't talked about is I'm actually creating what is called a mockumentary. A
that. Okay.
mockumentary is obviously for people who don't know it. Think of The Office. Think of Reno 911. Think of
Oh yeah, yeah.
anything that is going to poke fun at something, like the American Gladiators. So myself and my manager came up with this great idea, because I was sitting at a Comic-Con and I was talking to her and I was telling her like all the crazy stuff that was happening. We get cease and desist orders because nobody wants us to use our names, and it's just insane. So okay, so let's say time management, the mockumentary.
Okay.
What happens is, I mean, that takes a certain amount of time for, let's say, a week or two, and you're not working on it all the time.
Okay.
It's like bits and pieces. Oh, okay. So we have to hire a couple comedic writers. Okay, great. So we go out and look for them. And so, and you do I do what I need to do on that project, and then it's move on to the next project. The children's book. Okay, so we're both writing this. And so that requires a little bit about a time. Okay, when you're done with that, okay, that goes to the side. What else needs to be done today? So it's like it's the projects that are happening are not like 8-hour projects, you know what I
Mm,
mean, per day. They're little segments here, 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 and here. And then that way I can manage them more. And most of all my work, to be honest with you, is in the morning. When I get up, I get into my computer, I have, my coffee sitting in front of me, and it's just like, boom, I'm answering emails. I'm looking at my socials. To be quite honest with you, the socials are what takes a lot of time.
I know.
Doing those postings and the
Oh,
content.
I
I
know.
mean, that's just
Do you
I
use
can't even
someone?
keep up with that.
Do you use someone for your social media?
I do it all myself.
Yeah, it's a lot though.
It's a lot. So if you want to talk about time management, I mean, my manager put a time on my schedule to create content. Let's put it that way. Because I was like complaining. I'm like, oh my God. She's like, well, you need to put content here, here, and here. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't even have time to do this,
Yeah,
and go to the gym and food prep and, have my own personal life.
100%.
So it is, but most of my bulk of my work is before noon. Then I can go to the gym, I can food prep, and then whatever, like the emails and everything that I put out in the morning, I'll come back in the afternoon. I'll sit back down and I'll answer if they've
I
answered
got
me
it.
that day. If they don't answer me that day, it's the next morning. Now, back to the content. I'm like, here it is 4 in the afternoon. I'm like, oh my God, I haven't posted anything. And it's just like ridiculous. And I kind of get mad at the socials once in a while. I'm like, why do we even have this kind of stuff?
I'm gonna talk to you. I got some ideas I think that could be useful for you because I feel you. I feel your energy, and I know. And I sometimes I feel like I know, but there's we'll talk. We'll talk.
Well, here's the other thing for a girl. I mean, I think it's easier for guys, and I could be completely wrong, but for girls, if we do any posting and we do any videos, it's like we got to do hair, we got to do makeup. I mean, do you know how many days that I have? Like, I'll run a week, having my baseball hat on, no makeup, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I got to do an entire, it's like, well, okay, I'm going to do my hair and makeup. Well, I might as well do content. You know?
That's when you should do it. Then you just get a 30 days worth of content in the
I
time
know
that you do it.
there are times that I'll do like 4, 5, 6 videos in a day, and I'll
Yep.
just have them and I'll hold them and then I'll put them out.
Yep.
But IG is kind of funny and it's kind of easy because you can, on Instagram, it's not like TikTok. TikTok, I have way more followers, but they want more content. They want more videos. I get more views on photos actually on IG than I do on TikTok. TikTok is videos and IG is photos. I found out, for me anyway.
Yep.
That's how it kind of rolls.
Okay.
So it's like I cheat. I cheat. I'll go back to some of my videos and screenshot some photos and then put them back up on IG.
But that's what the gurus are saying. They're saying don't reinvent content. Find the stuff that's been getting you lots of hits and likes, and then just bring it back. Yeah.
Yeah. So that time management, that's all when it comes down to content, man. I can handle the time management with projects.
Yeah.
It's the content that I'm sucking at.
That's interesting. I think we all feel that though. But hey, I want to ask you this. So my company, Live to Thrive, emphasizes on holistic self-care and goal setting. How do you integrate those simple principles into your daily life? And then what strategies do you recommend for others looking to achieve balance or fulfillment?
I mean, I've always been the type of person when it comes to goals, I've always started with small goals. If I see, okay, let's rephrase that a little bit. I've had many businesses, and yes, that's a task in itself. Okay, so that's a different goal. Like, I want to open a gym. Okay, well, that's not a small goal. That's huge, So that was a whole different task. But when it comes to achieving goals and things like that, um, it's for me, honestly, and I even tell my clients this, it's you've got to take small steps at a time, in order to hit those markers. And then you go, another one, and then you go a little bit more. And so I've always been the type of person when it's the goals and trying to reach those goals, start small, and that's how my mind works as well. So, I mean, I know everybody's mind is differently, but yet we're all the same. So it seems like smaller goals are easier for people to hit, and then it just keeps moving and getting bigger and bigger. And pretty soon, when they turn around, all of a sudden, holy shit, I've got a 10,000 square foot gym that's open.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean,
do you celebrate the small wins though too along the process?
I try to. Yes, I really do. I really, really try to. I mean, okay, so a small win, for instance, let's say for me, getting on KTLA News last night for LA. That's a small win. And
100%.
I did. Absolutely. That's a celebration, because the fact that sometimes it's hard to get these things. Sometimes it's hard to get into something that's promoting yourself as far as the news and different, talk shows and stuff. The big wins, small wins along the way. The mockumentary, we're pitching this thing to all these production companies. Well, when we get a second meeting, that's a small win.
100%.
And you have to celebrate that, and you have to think about that and go, hey, we got a second meeting. That's pretty amazing. Somebody's really interested. So absolutely, you have to celebrate the small wins along the way. Otherwise you got, and that just goes back to enjoy the ride.
100%. You have to enjoy the journey.
Ride. And
yeah,
I think that's what's happening this time around with me and this second act of my career is enjoying the ride. Because when you're younger, you think you have all this time ahead of you, and you do. And now it's like the reversal. It's like all this time behind me.
Yes.
I don't have that much time in front of me.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yes.
And as sad as that sounds, everybody's like, why does that sound sad? I don't know. I just want to live another 50 or 60 years. At my age, that means I'm going to have to be 110.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And you're capable of doing it. Hey, let's do
anything's possible.
let's have a little fun.
All right.
Most embarrassing moment ever in your lifetime?
Falling on my face in front of about 10,000 in front of 10,000 people on the tour on the American Gladiators show.
What
Honestly.
happened? What happened?
When we went to the live tour and we were going from city to city to city,
Yeah.
I honestly got to tell you, I forgot what arena it was, but I remember there was like 10,000 people there, and they call your name, and the spotlight hits you, and you run out and you do the fist pump, the woo woo, and all of a sudden, boom, because there's carpet on the floor or something, and my foot hit it, and I literally just fell on my face as I ran out. Yeah, that was pretty embarrassing for me. I
Oh,
got to
that's
say that was the one thing.
we all have those moments. We all have them.
What's yours?
Oh gosh. Well, I'm going back. I'm
All
going
right.
back. I'm gonna go back to when I was in fifth grade, sixth grade, and there's probably many more, but this one comes back immediately now that you had mentioned something.
Okay.
So it was cool. It was cool back then for guys to put those combs. Remember those combs in their back pocket? You remember this
Oh
time?
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. That
Yeah.
was cool. So the girls would always chase me. They played this game called Catch the Hickey. That was my
Mhm.
nickname at the time because my last name is Hicks. And I remember I was super fast and I would dodge everybody. That day, I ripped my pants right in the crotch. So literally, you're attempting to be the coolest person at this age, and now you got
Right.
a big crotch ripped right open.
Right.
Um,
All
yeah,
right.
that was. I
I'm
remember
gonna
that.
I'm gonna give you one more because as you're
Okay.
telling that story, I
Yeah.
remembered one more super embarrassing moment, and I can't believe I'm actually gonna put it out on YouTube.
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
Here we go. I was in the height of my bodybuilding career. I mean,
Okay.
I was like getting ready for a show. My body was like down to like maybe 12% body fat.
Wow.
This was before Gladiators, and I have to say this too. This was before, yes, I got my boobs done.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm at the beach. I'm at the beach, and I've got my bathing suit on. And at that time, I could wear a G string because my body was banging. And anyway, we're leaving the beach. So you're grabbing everything from the beach and you're grabbing, your chairs and everything, and you're not thinking about it. But I'm walking up the beach and I'm noticing everybody kind of like
Oh
looking and
no.
staring and
I
looking and
think I know what
staring.
you're saying.
And I'm thinking, oh, well, I mean, I've trained hard. I must be doing
Oh my.
something right. And
Oh,
all
this
of a
is good.
sudden, my best friend turns around and looks at me and she goes, and these are what friends are for, right? My friend just started busting up laughing. Didn't tell me, didn't say anything, literally on the floor laughing her ass,
Oh my gosh.
like literally just, I was just walking up the beach, like, all proud and everything. And here I'm walking up this down on the beach, and my right boob is just literally hanging out because it got messed up when I was grabbing chairs and shit. That was embarrassing. That was probably more embarrassing than hitting the floor on my face in front of 10,000 people.
I'm sure everybody was very happy about
Oh,
that.
I'm
That's so. I'm
sure. I'm
sure. I'm
sure.
sure.
Trust me. But
Yeah, I
but then
bet.
again, oh wait a minute. But that okay. So the reason I emphasize that was before I got my boobs done because I really kind of had none. I really didn't. I mean, I was that girl, you know.
Yeah. Hey, Lori, as we're getting to the top of the hour here, I want to ask you this. Can you share like a pivotal moment or lesson from your career that profoundly influenced your approach to overcome challenges, foster resilience, and both maybe inspired yourself and somebody else?
What was the first part of that again?
Yeah. Tell me something pivotal.
Long ass
I
questions,
know, I
Michael.
know. All right, I'll shorten it up. I'm going to shorten it up. Give me a pivotal moment in your lesson or in your
Okay,
career that profoundly.
All right, let's just go with the pivotal moment in my career that profoundly.
Yeah.
Okay, that was when I actually got fired from the American Gladiators because we all decided to hold out because we thought we were worth more and we wanted points off of our dolls and the toys, and
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
thought that we deserved it. You know, we were putting our bodies on the line and we were getting paid shit anyway. Anybody who watches or has watched the Netflix documentary Muscles and Mayhem, every person that watched it, I get all these things, all these messages. I'm so sorry, you know, they treated you like shit and paid you terrible. But so yeah, when I got fired, that was an eye-opening experience. That was a very eye-opening. Holy shit, what am I going to do?
Hmm.
Because I had invested so much time and so much effort and let so many things go to do the American Gladiator show. And I had, I mean, at that point in time, if you think about it, I was 5 years in,
Hmm.
and my life was that was my life was being Ice from the American Gladiators. And that was, you know, I mean, yes, even though it was, you know, kind of like my alter ego kind of thing, it was also who I was.
Sure.
And so when I got let go from that, I honestly went down a pretty dark hole.
Hmm.
And I remember thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? I have no skills. I didn't go to college. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. And at that time, television was transitioning into more reality shows. So they were not doing a lot, like the acting positions were not really there. So it's not like I can go into acting. I wasn't that, you know, I wasn't that actor. So the pivotal moment for me was to really obviously take a serious look at who I was and what I wanted to do with my life. And what was I going to do? This was more the question. What was I going
Hmm.
to do to prevent from this ever happening again? You know, I wanted to be in control of my career and my life. And I think that's at that point in time when I decided that I wanted to open my own businesses. So I got a lot of inspiration from a lot of businesswomen and I watched what they did. And I was like, okay, I'm going to become a businesswoman. I, you know, opened my own my gym down in Orlando, 10,000 square feet. I did that. I had a tanning salon. I realized that wait a minute, I actually like doing this. I like opening businesses and actually running them for about 5 years and selling them. That was my thing. So it was a huge pivotal moment to first and foremost, I think, who I was,
Hmm.
you know, and it made me take a look at who I was. You know, am I Lori? Am I Ice? You know,
Hmm. Yeah.
are they the same? You know, a little bit of here, a little bit of there. But yeah, I got a lot of inspiration from some amazing women at that point in time in business.
I want to
And
know. I want to know who those women were.
I'll be honest with you, I couldn't even tell you who they were now. I mean, it was just
Who are they now? Who are they now? Who's like? Oh my goodness, I love this person. Who is it now?
well, one of the biggest women. She passed away,
Okay.
and she was just a huge inspiration. You know, just had my back. I mean, she was just like anytime anything ever came up to where I wanted to do it, she was the one that just inspired me so much to never ever quit and never give up. Never give up on my dreams, no matter how many, you know, roadblocks I hit.
Hmm.
You know, that's gonna she used to say that's gonna create character. That's gonna create who you are when you get over these obstacles. You know, that it makes you tougher, you know. And it is true. That doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
That's what I preach. Yeah, that's well said. And as Lori, let me ask you this, and then you could add anything else you want to add in. But we kind of talked about future projects, but is there anything that you really are super excited about in the pipeline coming up, and how it really
Honestly,
aligns? Go ahead
no, go ahead. How it aligns where?
with your mission to inspire everybody, empower others. Like, yeah,
Honestly, I think I'll be honest with you, as ridiculous, I don't even think it sounds ridiculous, but my partnership with Vshred, because of the fact that I'm literally going to be in every household in America at one point in time in the next 3 months. and everybody's going to see my face. I want to be able to inspire women. I want to be that person to inspire people to work out and train and take better care of themselves and be healthy and mentally healthy. I want to be that girl. And now Vshred is allowing me to have that platform. So that I am extremely excited about. And that's just going to fuel everything else going on. It's going to fuel the children's book, the children's animation and the exercise. Because, Michael, it's one of the things to where it's like if you have a platform and you have a good message and you're able to get out there into, I mean, it's like out of sight, out of mind. Okay, Gladiators, what, 30, 35 years ago? And if it weren't for the documentary, I was out of mind. I was out of everybody's mind until the documentary hit. And all of a sudden, everybody's like, whoa, American Gladiators, Ice. Oh, yeah, what the hell happened to her? That's the thing. Let's look her up, So, but here's the funny thing. Now that we have social media too, everything is in a instant. It seems like it's like the attention span is so small. Back in the day, it's like, television shows would run and we'd wait all week long to watch the next episode. Now we can sit and binge. Well, it's the same thing with the Muscles of Mayhem, documentary. People binged it and my socials were going crazy. My Insta was going crazy.
Wow.
But after about 3 months, boom, it died out. Wow. And it's like, whoop, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
So if you don't stay out there in front of people, then they forget who you are. So that's why I say I'm so excited about the Vshred platform and to get into the households and to get into people's and into their face again so that I can actually help do something to inspire them to want to take better care of themselves or whatever it may be, but it's all going to revolve around health and fitness because it's just, that's just who I am and that's what it's all about.
That's who you are from your DNA.
Yeah.
Lori, it's been a privilege. And you're very welcome. Give us any way any of our listeners can get a hold of you. You want to plug your websites, your TikTok, whatever you want to plug, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I've got, go to lorifetrick.com. That's my personal website, and that has pretty much everything on it. I also have it's called Ice T-shirts, and it's
those are pretty cool. Hey, let me just say this. I was on checking them out. They're pretty cool, y'all.
Thank you. So there's my website, lorifetrick.com, and then there's theplaygroundwarriors.com, and that's the children's book. There's also an IG for that. The Muscles of Mayhem Live. It's going to be a small tour. Right now it's on the East Coast. It's meet and greet, personal. You can get up close and personal. We're going to have some audience participation. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then hopefully that's going to sell really soon because that's going to be fun.
I'm excited to that. Yeah.
And again, the Gladiators is rebooting. The Gladiators are rebooting again. And
do you have a date on that?
I was told that they're going to be filming in August. I heard first week, I've heard second week, I've heard third week. So I'm not quite sure. I mean, we definitely have our names in the hat for some type of commentary for that.
Wow.
Because of the fact that, the old, even if it's myself and Nitro, to where it's like, if we can do backstage commentary, that would be awesome. We threw our name in the hat for the hosting.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sorry, it just doesn't. But
The Rock's got too much going on though right now. Yeah.
I know, he totally does. But so yeah, they're gonna reboot, and so I'm really hoping this time around they actually bring a couple of us back to bridge the gap with generations, because
100%.
apparently it's gonna be on Prime. It's gonna be on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
So I do have people hitting me up on my Instagram going, hey, I just had an audition. What do you think? Blah, 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 kind of thing.
That's cool.
So it's happening. It's happening.
You gotta
so
love
that's really
that though.
exciting.
You gotta love that though. Like them reaching out to you, telling you got an audition. That's gotta be cool.
It is pretty cool. It is, and I kid you not. If they said, Lori, would you put a uniform on? I'd be like, oh, hell yeah, let's go. I'll beat anybody's ass.
I love it. Hey, and I don't know if you've listened to
So,
any of our podcasts, but I'm going to show you how we exit here. Just you're going to do this. All right, stick with me, okay? And as
yeah,
always, you heard nothing but the best from Framing New Heights podcast. Thank you so much to Ice, Lori, and as always, 1% better in mind, body, and soul. Lori, and always stay flex. Yeah. All right. I want to hold on one second. Okay.